of you residents of Fall River?
No.
No.
Can I entertain a motion to waive the rules? Could you please just give your name and addresses for the record, and then whoever would like to speak, I will...
Joe, I guess I'll start because I am a city resident. My name is Ron Rayom. I represent the Carpenters Union here in Fall River. And I was here last Tuesday night at the Ordinance Committee meeting and was looking to reach out to the City Council here to ask them not to repeal Item 9, the responsible employer language. The consensus is, to me, the reason why the Ordinance Committee came out with a vote to repeal the ordinance was that they were afraid of being involved in any more lawsuits. They were afraid of a cost to the city. I beg to differ with that. I mean, the council, Lena Remind, has, in the last 2.5, or actually more than that, 5 years, 6 years, has spent over $2.5 million fighting a $750 million facility called the LNG, which they want to do here in Fall River. They've also spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep out strip clubs here in Fall River. I think it's pretty appalling of this council that they're not willing to spend a few, maybe $1,000, couple of hundred, nowhere near $100,000, but maybe $10,000, $20,000 to fight for workers' rights. I think the council ought to consider that, and I'd leave my colleagues speak a little further on that.
Thank you.
My name is Roy Colomb. I come from Rhode Island. I'm the business manager from Local 37 Iron Workers. I represent quite a few residents from the city of Fall River. We've taken in over a dozen apprentices over the last 4 years since I've been in office from the city of Fall River. And they've worked on a lot of projects here in Fall River and some of the schools, the courthouse, which may or may not have come under the REO, but the contractors from the courthouse was built, the steel was erected by a company from Rhode Island. One of the schools was built erected by a company from Rhode Island. One of the schools was built by a company, a union outfit from Canada. They all call the union hall for residents. They call the hall for apprentices that live in the town. I'm currently preparing to send local apprentices and local residents to the Braga Bridge. I know that doesn't come under the REO, but people have got to started to understand. They come to Fall River, and the same thing's going on in New Bedford to a point that you go into these cities, look for some residents, look for some local apprentices, and it's real. And it's really, I'll use the word invigorating to watch these kids come in, get an opportunity to go through the selection process, be picked to go in these apprentice programs, go to school, and if they don't, they get thrown out and learn a trade. My trade particularly is extremely dangerous, and they need to learn it the right way. And I'm a strong advocate for the REOs, and there's quite a few cities and towns in Massachusetts that have this, and I don't understand all of a sudden, you know, the scrutiny, this negative scrutiny. It really does work. And none of my contractors have a problem with hiring residents or paying a lot of money to support the apprentice program. My organization just spent over $600,000 on 3 new classrooms and a new lab to actually do the work that they perform in the field inside at night instead of out in the dark. And you know, and that's in a tough economy too. So we've invested money in our program, as has others, and we look forward to your support to, at the very least, leave this thing the way it is. It's been working. Love to see it strengthened a little bit, but I'm not going to get into all that. But I appreciate, Mr. President, you hearing us and you councilors hearing us tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Council, for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Brian Callahan. I don't live in Fall River. I'm from the Electricians, Local 223, Southeastern Massachusetts. I just want to speak about the apprenticeship issue. That seems to be one of the bigger issues with this ordinance. Some of the contractors have with it. There's no reason why any of these companies can't run a legitimate apprenticeship program. They just don't want to, quite frankly. Last week we had an insulator contractor get up and speak on this ordinance. And he said that this ordinance is going to put small contractors like him out of business. And that's not the intent of this ordinance at all. I just want to clarify, I think there's a perception out there that unions are made up of huge companies and we're the big fish in the construction industry. That couldn't be any further from the truth. If you want to look, you might even be able to turn it around. I mean, if you look at our competition, they're made up of employers that have numerous employers that have 50 employees, 300 employees, and our largest competitor has 800 employees. That's 200 more employees than we have in our total membership. Okay, so you know, these are the companies that this ordinance, you know, these companies are doing the work that this ordinance pertains to. Now, in the union, you know, the union contractors, approximately 90% of the union contractors are made up of 20 employees or less. Okay, and more than 80% 15 or less. Okay, I just wanted to make that clear that we are not the big fish in the construction industry. Another piece of this ordinance that's very important, it gives the city leverage against contractors that that are violating the prevailing wage laws. And you take the 4 schools that were built back in between 2006 and 2008. There were numerous prevailing wage laws broken on those projects. Some of them by the same contractor, repeated offenders. And I think if this ordinance gets repealed, you might get the same contractors on the Morton Middle School project. And I highly doubt that's what the council wants. Thank you.
Thank you.